it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be fine. Just sit just there. Yeah. Oh, thank God! Quick, come here.
Is everything okay?
He drove a BMW he didn't like.
So?
Well, it's never happened before. His body's shutting down. Go!
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. And today we have the brand new M235i Gran Coupe, the Audi S3, and the Mercedes CLA 35 AMG.
Okay, so that intro is not entirely true. There have been many BMWs over the years that I haven't liked, and that's usually because I dislike it when BMW strays too far from what it stands for, the ultimate driving machine. So in order to stick to that mantra, for years and years they kept their cars either rear-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive based all-wheel drive. They even went so far as to do this ad campaign in the 2000s, poking fun at front-wheel drive cars. So in about 2015, when they started putting some front-wheel drive based cars in their lineup, I let it slide because, well, they were family haulers after all. But now, here we have a 2 Series that was graciously provided by Performance BMW here in Ontario that is front-wheel drive based. That means the engine goes sideways instead of long ways, but whose brothers in its lineup are the brilliant M240i, or the best BMW in the last decade, the M2. And the most worrying issue of them all is that it has a little M badge next to the number. So historically, the reason you would choose a BMW over its Merc or Audi rivals is because while the others may have been superior elsewhere, fundamentally, a BMW was better balanced and more sporty. So today I'm going to find out if that's still true.
And even though that M Sport BMW has the most powerful BMW 4-cylinder ever at 301 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, this Mercedes CLA 35 AMG, kindly provided by our friends over at Mercedes-Benz Oakville, actually has more horsepower, despite having less torque at 295 pound-feet. Which leaves the underdog, the Audi S3, bestowed upon us today by the lovely people at HJ Pfaff Audi Newmarket. It is the oldest car from a refresh perspective, but the most affordable with the as-spec price of $54,000 Canadian. It only has 288 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, but like the other two, it has all-wheel drive, and in fact, the quickest claimed 0 to 60 time out of the 3, at 4.6 seconds. So with all that in mind, could it actually provide the best value? Because today's BMW costs just over 62 grand Canadian. And the Mercedes, well, we'll get to that in a minute. And if you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing about. So subscribe and hit the bell. CLA 35. Now, Mercedes call the 35 the new point of entry for AMG, so that more people can access AMG. It's kind of like your favourite local pub suddenly letting in 16-year-olds. It's great for them, but it doesn't make it any cooler. However, and people got annoyed when the 45 became an AMG as well, especially the 43 in the C-Class. So now we've gone even lower, but purist, elitist, enthusiast stuff aside, this is a 2-litre 4-cylinder with 302 horsepower. One of our favourite compact hatchback things has very similar numbers to that. So maybe, just maybe, this could be a great recipe.
This is the M235i Gran Coupe, and it's not a recipe like James was talking about. This is a bunch of BMW parts put in a blender with the hope that they'll come out the other side tasting good. So the M235i is good at being just a car. It's quick, it gets you into the gaps, you can overtake easily, the steering isn't too heavy, the turning circle is great, the visibility is fine. It accomplishes getting from A to B in a brisk manner very well. If you remove that though, you end up with a car that does not deserve an M badge. Barely deserves a BMW badge.
This one is the horsepower leader of the 3. Only by 1 horsepower. If there was 1 horse in your room instead of 0 horses, you would notice it. And I tell you what, it's not wanting for power. I know there's a 45 as well, but It really moves. A sub 5 second 0 to 60 time. That's all you could ever need. And it makes some fun pops and burbles on the outside, all a little bit synthetic, but just in the name of fun. It just touches on that AMG-ness.
This is the most powerful version of this B48 motor, and really great low-down torque, but it doesn't excite me in any way when I get up to the red line. As soon as you get to 5,000 RPM, it just kind of falls off in an unceremonious way. It just kind of goes at the top. It's not fun to rev it out. An M car, or even an M sport car, should be. And that's not the only place it fails. This is basically a Mini underneath. It's not a BMW. It has a front-wheel drive-based drivetrain. But the problem is that a Mini is fun to drive, because a Mini, even though it's front-wheel drive, is compact and small and light. So it just zips around the corners in an exciting way. This doesn't do that. And the other cars that you can get that start with an M and a 2, and then go 40i, or just M2, are rear-wheel drive-based drivetrains. This is a front-wheel drive-based drivetrain, which means that not only does this prioritize the front wheels when it's applying the power, which causes understeer, it also has an engine that's north of the front axle, so the weight is not with me inboard. It doesn't even limit oversteer. It just pushes in the corner. And they tried to do some steering trickery to hide that by giving it, pretty good suspension geometry up front, so the front end grips really well. And they made the steering go aggressively sharp with the ratio just off center. That's annoying, actually. And all it does is it just tricks you up into thinking that it might have good front end grip until you push it too hard, at which point it understeers and it all falls apart and gets really boring. So there's no aspect of driving this car that I enjoy, period.
So Thomas mentioned to me that he wanted to look at these as cars and then as the badges. So living with this, drop it down into comfort, and it becomes what we've always known the CLA to be: a compact, comfortable, reasonably well riding, not compromised like the 45 was, Mercedes-Benz sedan. And not only that, it's a massive tech hub, because unlike the BMW, this is more similar to the Audi, where the A4 and the C-Class of this hasn't quite been updated with all the new tech. This has the nuts M-Buck system. It has the dual screen. It has the Hey Mercedes, which I don't want to say because then she gets involved, and I don't like it. So as a car, it really, really works well. Switch it up into Sport Plus mode though. The engine note changes. Suddenly I'm very aware of this giant AMG wheel that has all these options, and it's a genuinely exciting car. Throttle response is great. It's not the sort of power that throws you back, but if you want to get on it, it's more than enough to be fun. And take it into a turn, and I have to be honest, it is one of the most capable front-wheel drive-based cars I've driven. The transmission, the 7-speed, isn't always perfect. It's not telepathic. Like just then I kicked my foot down and it waited a second or two to be like, oh, he actually does want to go faster. But for the most part, it plays ball. And when you shift manually, it's pretty responsive. And we actually, because of this steering wheel, we get these big AMG shifters, which is something you don't normally see on these little cars. There's an occasion to it. Whether it's true AMG or not, I don't know, but they've definitely picked the best parts of AMG that could fit into this and given it their all.
Maybe you decided that you want to spend a little bit more and get the M Sport version of this kind of compact 2 Series thing that you're buying, and you end up with a more powerful version of a car that gets you from A to B. It does do that. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's comfortable. It has a lot of BMW's on-highway tech, the adaptive cruise control and all that. Seats are comfortable, visibility is great. But as a performance car and as a BMW, I don't think it belongs in the lineup, especially if you consider the fact that for almost exactly this price, less than this price, you can get an M240i. I know it has the previous gen interior, but it's a full-blown performance car. Or, if you want the new gen interior, get a BMW 330, because that's actually a BMW. It's a longitudinally mounted rear-wheel drive based car that is fundamentally a BMW. And as a result of that drivetrain, it doesn't look like this on the outside, which we'll talk about in a minute. Here's the thing. I think if you're looking to buy a cheaper entry-level BMW, don't get this M Sporty version of this. Get the 228 Gran Coupe, then you get the 4 doors, and you get a much more affordable version of just a A to B car with BMW tech and quality. If that's what you're looking for, that's the one that accomplishes it.
I really like this car. The old CLA did nothing for me. But this sounds good. It feels good. It's confident in a corner. It looks good. I know it looks good from the outside. I'm sitting in front of a tech masterpiece. But, and there is a but, and it's not the front wheel drive based platform, because really I don't think that's a bother here. Look at that. It's the fact that it costs $67,000. That number is a little bit smaller in US dollars, but not small enough. And its greatest enemy is its C-Class brother, because for the same price you get a C43. And in fact, the way this is spec'd, it's only $8,000 shy of a C63 bi-turbo V8, which is just such a different level. However, it wouldn't be a complete fool for getting this, because this tech is a real draw. That engine sounds good, and it's a really nice little compact car for the city. And probably more efficient than the C43 or the C63 as well, although not the way I'm driving it.
Put it this way, a long time ago I went to a dealership with my dad. We were looking for a new car. We weren't looking for anything in particular, but we happened to be standing beside an X3 several generations ago. The salesman came over to us, immediately popped the hood, and said, "Guys, check this out." We hadn't talked to him yet about anything else. He said, "Look where the engine is in relation to the front axle. See, all BMWs pride themselves on weight distribution, handling, and fun-to-drive performance. That's why you'd buy one of these." And then he walked away. I was like, damn, that was cool. Can't say that about this.
I know I'm supposed to go drive that BMW now, but if I know Thomas and BMWs, he's probably not going to let go of the M235i too easily either. Might have to pry it off him.
I feel like BMW is my brother, and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in them. Like she was great. Why'd you break up with her? What were you thinking? All right, in the S3. So we've just driven both of the other cars. So I just got out of the Mercedes, he just got out of the BMW. What'd you think of that BMW, by the way?
I didn't drive a BMW.
Oh, what was it?
I don't know what it was, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
The Audi.
The Audi. I think the steering in this is the best.
Yeah, it's my favorite steering wheel. I've always loved
Not the steering wheel, which is nice, yes, but the steering.
Well, it's also, remember, it's the smallest car, so it feels the most nimble, even though that turning circle is worse than the CLA.
That's a pretty good turning circle, though.
The CLA was better.
Was it?
Yeah. The power is lacking slightly compared to the other two. 288 horsepower, but not lacking in any other normal sense of the word. It's absolutely fine.
I find the power band in this car to be really predictable. There's no abrupt boost. There's no throttle lag. It just does everything smoothly. Not excitingly, but smoothly.
But, it's a bit cliched, because we get in the Audis and we say, this is just really good, predictable, salt of the earth stuff.
Salt of the earth.
And it is that. And also, this isn't trying to be an M or an AMG. This is the S.
No, it's just proudly...
It's not claiming an RS.
No, it's just proudly an S.
So what does S mean to you? Because to me, it means Quattro as standard, and that little bit of more hops to it.
Yes, except this has a Haldex-based all-wheel drive system.
Well, this is a Golf R.
This is a Golf R.
Yeah,
yes.
The A3 we drove is a Golf GTI in an Audi shell, and this is a Golf R in an Audi shell.
This is a Golf R in every sense of the word, except for the fact that it's a little bit nicer in the interior and the back seats are less usable.
However, this interior now is starting to show its age, especially compared to the other two.
Yeah, so as a result, when we do the interior section, we're not actually going to go over all of the interior bits. We're going to tell you the highlights right now, and then we're going to focus on the BMW and the Mercedes.
Yeah, like this one has boobs, and that's great.
It does have
It has boobs.
And then there's an extra boob over here.
Everyone's got a third. This has the Audi virtual cockpit, which, as good as it is, and it's still incredibly clear,
yes,
is starting to show its age.
No, it's not. It's not. You're just used to seeing it for a long time.
But the Mercedes, we'll look at it in a minute. The Mercedes is a spaceship inside.
It may be too much, and the BMW is somewhere in between, done incorrectly. This is nice and clean and bright. The contrast, the black level's perfect. This screen is dated. That's what dates it.
Yeah, the pop-up.
Yeah.
And you can't get it to go down.
No, you can't. Other than that, the interior of this car is completely acceptable to me. It feels like an upscale Golf R and accomplishes that task very well.
And it must be noted, this is 14, 15 grand less than the other two, as spec.
It's not bad. Look at this. Look at you go.
Yeah, it's good. There's that understeer vibe though. It whispers in you. Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna go straight off the road. So there's obviously a lot to unpack here. So before we do a conclusion on these three cars, let's talk about the styling.
All right. Okay, we've said how they drive.
Yes.
How do they look?
Horrible.
Horrible. No, they don't look horrible. You're just blinded by this.
Everyone's blinded by this, James.
Yeah, no, admittedly, when I first saw it, it just ruined my day.
Yeah. It ruined my week.
Yeah.
It looks front wheel drive.
That's not even my issue with it. My issue is that all those little bits that other BMWs have that we don't like of the new design language, they've been all put into this one car.
Well, except for the new 4 Series grille.
But it still has a giant grille.
Yeah, but it's not the 4 Series.
Although in the black is not the best look for this. I've seen it in the blue and it looks a bit better. A little bit.
Okay.
The Audi still looks very Audi. It's subtle, it's subdued.
I've never had an issue with this.
No, it's starting to show its age though. It just looks a bit square. You know, everything's getting a bit more curvy.
This is how you do a big grille correctly.
It is how you do a big grille. And this can still come in Aura Blue, which is one of my favorite blues.
Aura Blue,
yeah,
yes.
Apparently I like blue.
You like...
The obvious winner for design out of these three, I don't know if you agree.
This is the best looking car here.
Oh my God, I thought we were gonna fall out. Yeah, I'm not the only person that's happy to hear you say that actually. The designer of the car, and I have to bring this up because it's hilarious.
Oh, you've got this prepared, look at you.
At the launch,
yeah.
The designer said that this adheres to Benz's new sensual purity design philosophy, right?
Okay.
Not that juicy, but he went on to say that it's more like a human body. So I think it's a true embodiment of sexiness in a human way, right? So he could get out of that.
He could have
one.
exited there,
yeah,
but you know.
But he carries on.
Yep.
What we humans think is attractive.
Yes.
And a car like the CLA must be sexy, and this car is. See, I think he wants to have relations with this car.
Yeah,
he must be the only person at the offices who, if you actually checked his browser history, it would be naughty for him, but everyone else would just think it was work.
He's got tissues.
He's got tissues on the desk. But yeah, it looks great. It looks like a mini CLS or.
It does. It has the CLS kind of vibe to it.
The
I
coupe
like
look.
it.
Yeah, it's supposed to have the form over function, which is where the A-Class differs, even though we get the A-Class hatch in Canada.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, they also wanted it to look like the AMG GT63S 4MATIC Coupe Plus.
Say that 5 times fast.
AMG CT60. It's the longest car name ever. The AMG GT63S 4MATIC Coupe. If you remember correctly, it's the car that you can hit 60 miles an hour in.
Before you could say its name.
Before you finish saying
it's literally true, yeah.
Mercedes-AMG GT63S 4MATIC Plus Ford. Oh. That's not true for this, unfortunately.
Let's look at the back ends though. Okay, so this one is busy, but I don't hate it. The only issue I have is I think these are like the North American bumper bits.
Yeah, I don't think it's busy. The diffuser's pretty aggressive for a 4-cylinder.
It's posturing, yeah, a little bit.
I think it looks pretty good.
This is the cleanest and the simplest. These are real exhaust tips.
Yeah, no,
This is how you do the back end of a small car correctly.
Yeah, these have fake exhaust tips.
This has more than fake exhaust tips.
Oh God.
James.
Don't want to look at it.
You know what they did?
Yeah.
They took what I think to be the worst designed visually BMW, the X4 and the X6, and they miniaturized the rear end and put it on this car.
That makes it a little bit less offensive.
Does it?
Hey, well, you know what? Every time we say this, we get shtick because some people really like the X4.
Some people are wrong. Yep. And that's okay. It's okay to be wrong.
We're sorry.
Okay, so we kind of already talked about the S3 interior.
Yeah, because it's the same as the A3.
Yes, it's nice. I like it a lot. Should we start with this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's a BMW.
Yes, like every other BMW.
Which is not an issue if you're buying a BMW because it's incredibly well made.
It is. Okay, so BMW wins currently on build quality. Like this is rock solid. Like I'm pressing on this, no creaks whatsoever.
These seats are quite nice.
The seats are very nice.
Yeah, they look
These are
good
the
too.
These are the upgraded sports seats. You've got a rear neck ventilation port.
You know what? On a day like today,
rear neck ventilation is incredibly important.
Yeah. Well, is it a hole? Okay, so you could just ask your friend to breathe.
On your back, yeah. Okay. The rest of this interior is very similar to every other BMW. So I don't have an issue with it on this one because this is like one of the lowest ones that you can get. But if this steering wheel comes on $180,000...
Well, this is the M Sport wheel.
It is the M Sport wheel, but it's the same M Sport wheel on every BMW now.
Okay, but this class of car is guilty of doing that. So we'll see that when we get to the Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
That looks quite small.
That's a gauge cluster that I don't like in any other time, but now I especially don't like it because it's extra small.
It just looks tiny.
And what I did find out, though, is that in the settings, I can actually change the display to show me a reduced version. I'm in reduced mode.
Okay.
So that means it basically just shows me.
You've always been a bit slow. I've always assumed that you've just.
I need the reduced mode.
Yeah.
All it does is it shows me my speed and my RPM or whatever, and then you have everything else in the heads-up display. It's fine. I'm getting used to it, but I hate this gauge cluster overall.
It's very familiar in here, but it feels smaller.
It is. Also, the driving position is higher. I don't know if you can feel it from where you are, but like it doesn't feel like a BMW to me. A BMW should have the steering wheel coming right at me. Like a sporty BMW, I want to be low, and this is
pretty low from here, actually.
It doesn't feel low when you're driving it.
This is all angled towards you. They've tried to be as driver-centric as they can be.
Yeah.
Minus the drivetrain.
Yeah. It's different. That's a different conversation. However, the materials are nice, and there's no creaks whatsoever. One minor complaint: this doesn't come with it. I've optioned the wireless charging, which is more like wireless maintenance. It doesn't actually charge the phone very much.
Interestingly, it has normal USB. The Mercedes has USB-C.
Oh, that is annoying. Yeah, you can get an adapter, I'm sure, but
both.
like I just like having the actual USB port. Otherwise, this is fine. It's mostly just current BMW. The Harman Kardon sound system is acceptable. But with all the extra money to put into this, make it red with the sport seats, I'm not sure that you're really gaining any more.
No,
on the
but it's
inside
got the nice double sunroof.
Double sunroof is cool. Do you want to check out the back seats, though? Because that's kind of an important question.
It is, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, that's a tiny entranceway.
It is very tiny. And then when you're in here, it's not any better.
Just about touching everything.
James, I'm upset by this.
I know you are.
I want to like it.
I don't know how to comfort you. I've got a sexy Mercedes over there. That,
oh, God.
Yeah. I'll send you my browser history.
Okay. All right, now, the issue that I have with this is not that it's too small, which it is. That's an issue in and of itself. The issue that I have is that the M240i, which is less money than this,
exists,
and a coupe, has, I'm pretty confident, more rear seat room, even though it's a coupe.
And it's all-wheel drive.
And it's all-wheel drive. And, well, there's 1,000 other
But
reasons.
it is the old interior.
Good.
Okay.
Can we go look at the Mercedes now?
Please.
Okay.
All right. We just immediately achieved one designer's dream.
How?
We got inside the CLA. Sorry. All right. If this looks like an A-class interior to you, that's because it is. It's identical.
Yeah.
Except they've gone full AMG and they've given us this steering wheel.
Oh, this is like from the AMG GT63S.
It's overkill in here, I think.
I'm having fun saying that now. Okay.
It's
AMG GT63S.
It's the Mercedes-AMG GT63S 4MATIC Plus Coupe. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I'm changing my name from Princess Banana Hammock to that.
This is Princess Consuela Banana Hammock.
Okay.
If you want to be
if you don't watch Friends, we're sorry.
Yeah.
If you do,
you'll get that. Yeah.
So yeah, this is overkill, I think. Although it is an amazing steering wheel, it just feels cheating to have it in here.
It kind of also same thing with BMW diminishes having it in the really fancy.
Yeah. The last car we were in that had this pushed your head into the previous decade when you accelerated.
Yeah.
Not the case for this.
Not really.
But it does have some really cool stuff. People want simpler steering wheels. We hear that complaint a lot. I think they've done this very well. It's very intuitive. This has the sport.
The mode selector.
Yeah, the mode selector here, and then these custom buttons which you can change out to whatever two you want.
I like those.
Yeah, and these thumb buttons which we've always got on well with.
Yeah, I like them.
And you can navigate.
Oh, it says the track pace package.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Is that an optional extra?
It's an optional extra, and so is the AMG Performance package.
Right.
This is a really well optioned car.
Yes.
Which is why it cost $67,000.
How much does it cost?
$67,000.
$67,000?
Well, you haven't got that?
How much is a C43 AMG?
Less. Less. But the C43, like the M240 you just mentioned, doesn't have the new gen interior, which even though you don't think that's a disadvantage in the BMW, this M-Bucks stuff, well, maybe not the M-Bucks itself, but the dual screen, there's an occasion in here. You feel like you spent money in this, with the brush steel, the lights coming up, these air vents which at night glow.
And the creaking.
The creaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this one-piece glass roof, and it's a lot of piano black.
A lot of piano black. Okay, obviously we're very hard on these interiors, but truthfully, I love this. I love the ambient lighting. I love the brushed stainless. I think it looks great. And to be fair, back to the BMW, it's really well made. I don't like the design, but it's well made, and they've done that correctly.
I really like this. These seats are slightly stiff.
They are, but they're comfortable.
Yeah,
I like the shape.
You're right. You're absolutely right. This is an incredible thing. When you walk into this, and if you have a car from 2017, it feels like
blow your mind.
Yeah, it feels like this is a decade ahead.
Easily.
I really love this interior, but I'm more curious to see how the back seats compare. Because
This is the moment of truth.
oh, I really hope they beat the BMW.
This is the moment of truth. Let's go.
Yeah, that's better. This is way
Not
back.
much better.
This is way back.
It is way back. There is more headroom, but like this much.
It's
more
very
headroom.
close. It feels more spacious though.
It does. Yep.
This class of car is never going to be that comfortable in the back, right?
No, but do you know what class of car is comfortable in the back? The C class.
The C class,
This is
yeah.
C class of car. Also the 3 Series.
Also the Audi A4.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, back in the Audi. I feel like we've made our thoughts clear on what we think of the M235i at this point. So
Yes.
I don't want to presume, because when you presume you make a prez out of you and me,
That's how the saying goes. Yes.
but we can discount the M235i.
I would not buy that car.
Okay.
No.
So then it's between the Audi and the CLA.
Yes. Well, it's not though. It's more complicated than that. But just for the sake of simplicity.
Okay, so which one has the best tech?
The Mercedes, not only does it have the best tech, it has the best performance, it has the best drama, it has the best chassis, it's the most put together, it's the most exciting in every way.
Got the most road presence?
Yep, so that means that I would take the S3.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't make any sense. Here's the thing. The Mercedes is the best car of these three, objectively in every possible way. The S3 is cheaper and it's honest about what it is. It's not trying to be anything really more than that.
It rolls up its sleeves and gets the job done.
Exactly that.
Isn't it not honest because a Golf R is more honest?
Right. So the conclusion of these three cars is, if you're going to buy the Audi, buy the Golf R. If you're going to buy the Mercedes, you don't really need the C35. Get a regular CLA. It's probably quite nice and drives very well. If you're going to buy the BMW, you've taken complete leave of your senses. And what you should buy is the M240i.
X-Drive.
X-Drive. Out of the three cars, that's the one to buy.
What about 3 Series?
Yeah, of course, obviously. I mean, like, for I think what is roughly the exact same price, or even a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, you get fully spec'd.
Fully spec'd 330i, which has the same motor, the B48.
X-Drive, more comfortable.
Proper BMW drivetrain.
Yeah.
Looks way better.
Doesn't look like a poo. I tell you what though, the CLA gave me so much respect. I already love the interior. It makes me realize how much I would like the A35. And I say, I'm sorry Americans, I'm sorry, because the reason I say that is because in Canada, we get the hatchback. So that motor in a hatchback with that interior,
that's a win.
That's a win.
That's an absolute win. That would be a great car.
Okay, so the S3, still brilliant, honest about what it does.
Great.
CLA 35, way more impressive than we thought it was going to be.
Yep.
And then, what was the other one?
Oh, I've already suppressed the memory. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, me too.